Good afternoon, book lovers. My name is Natalie, and welcome back to Nat Cat's Bookish Cafe. Today I am starting a new vlog, and this is gonna be my first video on my new phone. So sorry if I'm holding this kind of weird. My new case hasn't come in, and I have forgotten how to hold a phone without a poppet attached to it. So hopefully the camera quality is a little bit better. I have the iPhone 13 now, and it's looking better from what I can see. Everything looks really clear and crisp, so that's exciting. But today I wanted to go ahead and start a vlog where I read 3 books that will hopefully make me really happy. Alright, so for the 3 books that I will be reading, the first one is an audio book that I'm technically already 11% in, and that's Yes Please by Amy Poehler. So it's a nonfiction following this actress slash comedian. So far I'm really enjoying it. She's the one who's narrating, and it's just a really entertaining experience. I didn't really watch the show that she was in, which I'm actually even forgetting the name of right now. So it's not like I'm a huge fan of her or anything, but I'm hoping that it's just a lighthearted read with some good comedy in it. Then for the book that I'm going to be starting tonight, it's a graphic novel, so it's really short, and that is Fangs, and let's see who that's by. Sarah Andersen. So I'm going to go ahead and see about starting that. I'm probably not going to start that until later tonight, just because I got some homework and stuff that I need to do, but it's only 100 pages, and it's a graphic novel. So that should be a relatively quick read. It just follows a vampire and her werewolf boyfriend, so it should be, just a good uplifting read that makes me smile and is really sweet. All right, and then the next book that I'm hoping to read, a longer one, is gonna be Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This is on my July TBR. Both of these are both of the physical books are, if you haven't seen my July TBR, I will link that down below, and maybe I'll try and do one of these little linky things up here. Haven't tried that yet, so we'll see how that works out. And this is just a contemporary romance, a female romance. I think it's mostly like forced proximity, so I'm just really hoping for a cute, sexy time. Not going in with really any expectations, mostly because I don't know anything about it, but hopefully that means that it's really hard for me to be let down by it. I've heard nothing but great things, so hopefully it lives up to those expectations. So I'll check in with you guys later tonight, probably after I finish Fang. So yeah, see you later. Alrighty. Excuse the really weird lighting. My bedside lamp was too bad, so I'm using just my ring light, and it looks a little wonky. Anyway, so it is a little after 10, so I'm about to go to bed. But I did finish all of Fang. It was a really quick read. There's barely any words. I almost wonder if this is like one of those like internet comics that they then turned into a book, because they're not really connected in any way. It's just like a bunch of little, individual scenarios between the two of them. I'm thinking rating wise, I'm probably gonna give it like just a 3 stars. The art was cute, but not, like 100% my style. And while, it made me laugh, it's not something that's like overly memorable. I think my favorite part was because she's a vampire, when she goes out, she has to be like fully covered. So she's wearing all these, big long black dresses and hats and veils. So it's kind of fun to watch all her different outfit changes. But other than that, it wasn't anything too special for me, but it was a real quick read, a nice little palate cleanser. So that is actually a book I'm going to be using for whatever thon for the poll pick, because I asked people yesterday if I should start with this book or Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and they chose this book. So that'll tack on an extra 2 bingos for me, so that's a good news. So I'm gonna fill that out and then head to bed, and then tomorrow I will go ahead and start Delilah Green and update you on that. All right, good night. Good morning, everyone. So it is 7 o'clock and I am about to paint my nails because I don't have any other time to do that. When you paint your nails, I swear you have to like block out 2 to 3 hours of your day to do absolutely nothing, so that you don't mess up your nails. So I'm gonna try and do that. I start work at 8, so that should give me plenty of time. I am starting Delilah Green Doesn't Care today, and I chose my bookmark because I feel like it matches her tattoos. You can kind of see that. I don't think I'm going to start it this morning. I'm probably going to start it like maybe during my lunch break or something. But for now, I'm just going to have my peanut butter and jelly smoothie, which is frozen raspberries and peanut butter and banana. And I'm gonna watch an episode of The Orville. I will check in with you later. Alright, so my lunch break is almost over, so I'm just going to do a quick initial thoughts. I'm only about 24 or so pages into the book. I've read the first 2 chapters. The first thing is I'm glad to see that it follows the point of view of both of the love interests. I usually prefer being able to see the point of view of both of the characters instead of from just, one of them. So far we've followed Delilah, and she is a photographer in, I believe, New York. She's trying to make it, but so far it's not going too well, but she feels like she's kind of starting to take off a little bit because she recently sold her first piece. So she's a little reluctant to be heading back to her hometown to photograph her stepsister's wedding, because she doesn't want to kind of slow the momentum, but they're offering a lot of money for it, and so she's got to take it. So off she heads, and then we're following, and I'm totally forgetting her name, Claire, who I guess was a teen mom. She was 19. She had a daughter who I think is maybe like 11-ish at this point. And she is out at the bar with her friend because her daughter is spending the night at her ex-husband's house for the first time. It seems like he kind of was in and out of the picture, and so she's really nervous about having her daughter, start to get attached to her father again because she's worried that he will dip out again. So in order to de-stress a little, she is going to look for a one-night stand, and I think you can assume who just walked into the bar and caught her attention. So I have a feeling that it will start with a one-night stand, and then they will realize that they will be working together at the wedding because Claire is Delilah's stepsister's friend, and so they'll be kind of forced to work together, and it'll probably be really awkward at first, but then eventually develop into something more. So excited to see that happening. Alrighty, so I just got done at the gym and I am driving home, so that is why I'm not making eye contact with you right now. So I just recently got my gym membership back after not having it for probably about 2 years. So we are taking it slow, but it does feel really good to be getting a little bit more exercise than just like walking around, because I'm not good at exercising at home. Like, we have weights there, but I just don't really use them, mostly because our house shakes a lot, and it never feels good when your entire house is shaking while you're trying to work out. But the reason I'm doing this update, if you guys move around a little bit, it's probably because my little phone holder is very weak. Is because I got from a 11% through my audiobook to 45% done with my audiobook for Yes Please, and I am still really enjoying it. It was sending me through a little bit of an emotional roller coaster. This round, there was a part about shame and finding the strength to like apologize for something that you did that was wrong. That was really moving, and so I was like tearing up on the treadmill, and then of course like a little while later, because this book is really funny, I'm laughing, so everyone at the gym probably thinks I'm like emotionally unstable, and I'm like, sorry guys, it's just me listening to a book that's making me cry and laugh instead of exercise music. But yeah, I'm really loving listening to her narrate her book. It's really funny, and I think it has some pretty important lessons in it as well. There was this one line that really stood out to me, where she said, the question, what are you going to do? Like, you get that asked all the time, like you're about to graduate high school or you're about to graduate college, or all the time you're asked that question, and it kind of makes you feel like you haven't already done anything. So it kind of made me stop and think of all the things that I've accomplished, and it's actually quite a bit, which I would hope so considering I'm 26 years old. But it makes you kind of stop and think that maybe you don't have time to like panic about the future, because heck, I'm busy right now. I'm busy and I'm living my life, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job. So that book really kind of made me feel good about myself for a moment there, which is always nice. So it's a book I highly recommend. So I'm almost 50% through with it, and just looking forward to hearing more of her funny experiences that she's had on Saturday Night Live, or just in her day-to-day activities. It's a little bit of a mix of stories, and just a really good time, a good laugh, also I guess a good almost cry as that one part was. So yeah, I'm probably gonna maybe read a little bit more of Delilah. Green Doesn't Care tonight. My dad got back from his business trip. So we might watch like Stranger Things or something. But I'm thinking I'll probably update you next once I get about 50% through the book. So we'll see if that's tomorrow or if it's on Saturday. But I'll check in with you once I've read a little bit more. All right. All right, so it is Sunday night. I didn't update you yesterday because I didn't achieve my goal of reaching the halfway point, but I am officially halfway through Delilah Green Doesn't Care Now. I am just now starting to warm up to the characters a bit more. Delilah more than Claire. I still feel like we're not getting much from her, even though we have her point of view. I still feel like she's kind of like a side character almost. So I'm still hoping to get a bit more of her story. We're getting a bit more about Delilah, how she got into art, a little bit more about, how she feels about being back in town and being with her step family, but I still feel like she's very much someone who has decided to play the role of the victim and has been playing that role for years, and so therefore is always taking everything that happens and making it seem like it was on purpose, just to, be mean to her, things like that. She seems to be warming up to the idea that other people might have problems. At least when it comes to Claire, I still am a little bit frustrated at the way she treats her stepsister at this point. From my point of view, think it's clear that Astrid, her stepsister, is making an effort, but Delilah keeps shutting her down, and it seems like she's been doing this for years, and then she complains about her and her stepsister not having a relationship, even though to a degree it's her fault as well. I'm sure both are to blame, but like I said, she's still very much making herself out to be the victim, and so that is a little bit frustrating. Hopefully that is a discussion that she and her stepsister will have, and that we'll see a lot of character growth through that. I am starting to like the idea of the two of them being together. I'm not overly invested in the relationship, mostly because I'm not overly invested in the characters yet, but hopefully as we learn a little bit more about them and they get a little bit more fleshed out, my desire to see them jump into bed together will increase. Of course, the fact that we're halfway through the book and I'm still on edge, undecided, I guess I should say, if I really like the characters and I want them to be together is maybe not the best sign. So I think that while I enjoy a slow burn, I just need a little something more that's gonna really get me invested in their relationship. There was one scene that I really enjoyed that started to make me feel that way, but then there was an interruption and it kind of took all of that back. So I'm still, not 100% invested in the relationship, but hopefully we get there, and I will update you either when I finish the book or if I have any other thoughts that I want to share. Alright, so I'm just finishing up my walk. It is Monday morning, so happy 4th of July! I just finished Yes Please by Amy Poehler. We don't have much else to say on it, and I don't rate my nonfiction books, so I'm not really gonna say anything other than I had a good time. I laughed, I cried, it was a book that gave me a little bit of a emotional roller coaster, which maybe isn't what I was 100% looking for, but it made me laugh like 90% of the time, so that was good. So I'm gonna head home now, do some stretching, probably eat some lunch because I'm hungry, and then I'll be doing some homework and some video editing, and hopefully I will make some more progress in Delilah Green Doesn't Care. Alright, so I can finally finish this vlog. It is a little bit before 10 o'clock at night on Wednesday, June 6th. And I started this vlog, or it's July 6th, and I started this vlog on June 30th. So it took me a little longer than I thought I would to read this book, but I have finally finished Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and I'm thinking about giving it a 3.5 rating, which is definitely lower than what I was hoping it would get. I've heard really great things about this. I think it made Goodreads top 12 romances of the year so far list, but I just had trouble connecting with our main character, Delilah here. I really enjoyed a lot of the side characters, so I'm looking forward to reading Astrid's story, and I'm really hoping that we get a story from Iris, because I really loved every moment that we had with her. But with Claire, I felt like sometimes she was a little bit of a flat character almost. I feel like I wasn't getting too much from her. And then with Delilah, I have a feeling that this book was supposed to be relatively emotional. We have Delilah, who lost both her parents at a very young age and grew up in a household where she just didn't feel like she was loved or wanted, and that obviously affected the way that she treated people. And I know you're supposed to feel empathetic towards her and her plight, but I don't know. I just felt like the way that the author wrote her made her relatively unlikable. She was very much the kind of person who makes herself out to be the victim, the person with the most and realist problems. And she took a lot of pleasure in, making other people unhappy. And of course, towards the end, she has character growth, and she says, that she knows that was wrong. But it's kind of hard to, have an almost 400-page book of someone being somewhat cruel. And then having them apologize in the last 30 pages and being, expected to like completely forgive them. So I think I would have wanted a more gradual character growth, especially with her behavior towards her stepsister Astrid. So I think that because it was just kind of like resolved there at the end, I wasn't quite satisfied with it. And because I didn't really like the main character, of course, I wasn't the biggest fan of the romance either. There's definitely parts in this book that I really loved, and there was parts in their romance where I really was starting to get invested in it, but then there was always something, usually Delilah's behavior probably towards her sister, that just pulled me out of it again. So I think I might just have a problem with, the way the story was kind of written. I mean, it was kind of one big miscommunication trope, 20 years in the making. And I mean, I think Delilah only spends a few days in town, so it's hard for me to imagine that, her and Claire are falling in love, even if there was some feelings from when Delilah was living there when she was younger. I think if they were drawing on feelings from the past, that we would have needed more flashbacks so that we could really build that relationship. So I just felt like, it was a bit too insta-lovey, and that Delilah's development to, and realization that she was not the only one who was suffering when her father died. It was just a little bit too slow. So I think the setup of the story, the pacing, just didn't quite work with me. Because I like the side characters, I know the next story is following Astrid, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that there'll be a story for Iris as well. I know she has a partner in this book, and he seems like a great guy, but they seem to have some differences of opinion on whether or not they should have kids. So I could foresee that possibly ending the relationship, and then hopefully we'll get a story from her as well, because she's definitely my favorite of the story. So yeah, unfortunately not the 5-star read that I was kind of hoping it would be based off what I heard. But, still glad that I gave it a shot, and am definitely willing to give future books in this series a try. All right, so I am going to go ahead and get ready for bed now because I still have work in the morning. But I'm going to officially wrap up this vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just as a little recap, I read all of Delilah Green Doesn't Care, the majority of the audiobook Yes Please by Amy Poehler, and then the short graphic novel Fangs. All right, well, you guys, I will hopefully see you in my next video. Thank you, as always, for your support, and I'll see you next time. Bye.